Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. And today, inshallah, we're going to move to the singular pronouns, personal pronouns. Ana, I am. Anta, you or you are, as a male. Anti, you, feminine, singular, or you are. Ana, anta, anti. Huwa, that's third person, he or it, which is masculine. He is or it is masculine. Hiya, she is or it is feminine. So ana, anta, anti, huwa, hiya. Ana, anta, anti, huwa, hiya. Ana, anta, anti, huwa, hiya. Now, interrogative particle, the question word, man, who, or who is. Man. Haadhaa, this is, if you're referring to a masculine object or a male, human. Haadhaa, this or this is. Haadhihi, this or this is, feminine version. Now combine the man with haadhaa and haadhihi. Man haadhaa. Man haadhihi. Man haadhaa, who is this? Man haadhihi, who is this? Feminine singular. One more time. Ana, anta, anti. Huwa, hiya. Man. Haadhaa, haadhihi. Man haadhaa, man haadhihi. Now you can play around with it to say, how do you say then, who are you? Man, anta, or man, anti. Who is he? Man, huwa. Man, here, who is she? Ana, anta, anti, huwa, hiya, man, haadhaa, haadhihi, man haadhaa, man haadhihi. That's very good. Right, now the next phrase we're going to be dealing with is hal. And hal is very interesting. You use hal when you don't have specific particle for a question. Like you have how, which is kaifa, when is mata, how much is kam, and so on. But when in the absence of any a particular particle to ask a question, we use hal. And that's why hal can mean do, does, is, are, has, have, had in terms of the question. The way you use hal is by putting hal before a positive statement or a phrase, and that would turn it into appropriate question to that statement. For instance, you have tuhibbu shay, you like tea, and that is addressing to a male. Tuhibbu shay, you like tea. Now if you put hal there, becomes do you like tea? Do you, male singular, like tea? Hal haadhaa, haadhaa, as we learned previously, means this is or this. Now if you put hal before it, it becomes is this. So hal haadhaa Adam, is this Adam? Hal haadhihi Nadia, is this Nadia? Because haadhihi on its own meaning this is, addressing to a singular female. Hal haadhihi Nadia, is this Nadia? For instance, if I say anta, anta means you or you are. Now put hal before anta, becomes hal anta, are you, and then the name. Are you Imran? Hal anta Imran? Hal anta Faisal? Hal anti Nadia? Hal anti Zainab? And so on. So that's the way hal is used. It's used only when you don't have a specific particle to ask that question, and then the hal becomes handy to do that. Okay? For instance, if I want to say, do you like tea, speaking to a female, how do you convert to hibbu, which is addressed to a male singular, to a female singular? Can you remember the ending to a verb which is talking to, directed at a single female? Is ina ending. You will say hal tuhibbina shay, hal tuhibbina qahwa, and so on. So that's your hal for you. Inshallah, we would continue after this, inshallah. Right, on page 55, we'll be doing Sukoon, dealing with Sukoon. And before that, let me just recap what has been done already regarding the vowels, short vowels and long vowels. Well, we've done Fatha A, Kesra I, Dhamma U. We've done the A sounds, lengthening, and the E sounds with Ya, and we've done U sound. Also, you have done your tenween, which is doubling. You double the short vowel, becomes an and in and un. That is your an, in, un. Double dhamma, un. So, short vowel, long vowels, doubling. Now we need to do sukoon. Sukoon is a small circle placed on top of a letter to indicate that there's no vowel, absence of any vowel, either short or long vowel, or tenween, none. And let's see the impact of that sukoon once it's placed on top of a letter. Let's start with a letter, is a simple letter, like sin. Letter sin, if you put fatha sa, kesra si, dhamma su. Double fatha san, double kesra sin, double dhamma sun. Lengthening sa, si, su, but nothing on it. Let's put sukoon. That small circle placed on sukoon, on sin now. The job of that is, the impact is, cut the sound to minimum, the beginning of the name of the letter itself only. Instead of sin, become s. By putting sukoon on top of sin, reduces it to s. If you put it on jim, becomes j. Put it on me, m, on noon, n, and so on. On Hamza, glottal kind of stop. Like here in Britain, for instance, some people in the part of London, when they say bottle, instead of pronouncing the T at the end, they say bo-o, bo-o. Then glottal stop. That's what Sukoon does to Hamza. Now, let's practice with some other letter apart from the sin. Or I will do, there are two unique sounds with Sukoon that will come after I finish this. So we have s. If I put it on ba, becomes b. So beginning of the ba. Put it on lam, l, l. Now, let's try this. If I put ba with fatha and lam with Sukoon. Pronounce this together. Becomes bal. Bal. Sukoon cannot come at the beginning because Sukoon always needs a vowel before it. So you always find Sukoon preceded with or by another vowel, either Kesra or Dhamma, or you will say it. So in this case, Bal. As soon as you see Sukoon, connect it with the previous vowel, the nearest vowel to Sukoon, to the right. So Bal in this case. Let's try another one. If I say that's become sure. Link it, connect it. Sure. So Bal, sure. What about this lam and noon? La and Sukoon on the noon. Try it out for me. La and n, lan. So Bal, sure, lan. So that is you can say bill, sure, share, and so on. So just take the sound of the vowel, link it with the Sukoon. Right, so we've done that now. Let's now isolate another sound for Sukoon for you with on wow and ya. If we have Sukoon on letter wow, remember Sukoon on wow means ow. Ow, like an ow. So if I put ba, you will say, this is a ba, this is ow. Bow. Bow. Mau. Sow. Ow. You cannot go wrong if you remember the Sukoon on top of wow. Remember the sound ow, and then link it with the vowel just before it. Bow, lao, jow, sow, mau, and so on. What about if we have Sukoon on ya? So ya, the ya, of course that's the, remember it comes like this, that's the ya in the middle. Remember the Sukoon on the ya means I. So I, for instance, Jim, that's J, that's Ja, that's A, J. I, you have I. This lengthening, extension, is like another letter is coming. For instance, if I say I and I write this. Try that. Aina. Aina. That's aina. So, Sukoon on any other letters, it means you pronounce the beginning of that letter like s, sh, sh, b, m, n, l, and so on. But when you have Sukoon on wow, it means ow. If you have Sukoon on ya, means I. Now, before we continue and visit book, again, the book, page 55, to reinforce what we just learned about Sukoon, let me just quickly mention this point. Wow with Sukoon, I said before, meaning ow sound. But however, occasionally you find wow carrying Hamza on his head, that's Hamza, could be carrying Sukoon. In this case, Hamza is just using the wow as a chair. Wow will have no impact whatsoever. You will consider as if that wow does not exist. It is there, and the reason will be discovered later in the series. Now, Hamza has habit of, he being lazy, just want to sit on somebody. Very rarely you find Hamza on his own just sitting on the floor. It happens, but most of the time you find Hamza this way. Either Hamza will be on the alif. When Hamza is on alif, you will have Fatah or Dhamma or Sukoon on it. But when you have Hamza when you have alif with Hamza, under the alif, there's only one vowel you are allowed to put, and that's Kesra, E. Also, Hamza can be found on Waw. It could be carrying Sukoon. It could also be carrying Dhamma, U. Hamza also can be found sitting on the shape like this, which is like a shape of Ya or Bao in the middle but no dot, sitting right on top of them, like that. It could be carrying Kesra, it could be carrying Fatha. Also, sometimes this shape, which is a Ya shape, but with no dots, this is not a Ya because it's Ya shape with no dot. Hamza could be sitting right on his tail, like that. And also, of course, Hamza can be sitting on its own, on the floor. But most of the time you find Hamza riding upon alif, or below the alif, or above waw, or above Ya shape kind of thing. In that situation, don't worry about the chair, just go for the vowel. Hamza, there's no particularly unique sound for Hamza. The glottal kind of stop. You just go for the sound. If it is A, so you say A. If it is U, just say U. If it is Sukoon, say glottal stop. If it's E, say E. Here, just say U. And it's like that. So, remember, we will explain why Hamza is sitting on that or in this way. That will come later in this series. Okay? I thought I just mentioned that to you to save you panicking when we go to page 55 and you suddenly see Hamza sitting on the waw and we are not actually saying the waw in any shape or form. So they are not exist, just Hamza carrying the sound. We're now on page 55 of the book, and I've already explained to you how the Sukoon works. On this page, we're going to apply the principle we've just learned by going through the reading. On this page, you will see that each letter is represented here and Sukoon on them with link to either Fatha before it, or Kesra before it, or Dhamma before it. And they are not really a complete word. It's just part of word in most cases. And that's why you see some letter written in the middle with an extension in anticipation there will be another letter after that. So let's start from the top. Here you have Ba and Lam. Lam has Sukoon. We know what's the sound of Lam with Sukoon will be L and the Ba, Bel. Qaf, Kesra, and then Fa here with Sukoon. Qif. Bel, Qif. Kaf, Dhamma, Noon, Sukoon. Kun. Kaf, Fatha, Mim, Sukoon. Kam. Ba, Kesra, Hamza, Sukoon. Bi. That's glottal stop. Bi. Mim, Dhamma, Hamza, Sukoon. Mu. Kaf, Fatha, Waw, Sukoon, cow. Lam, Fatha, Waw, Sukoon, low. You've already learned that Sukoon on Waw gives you the sound of ow, like an ow. And the Sukoon on Ya is giving you the sound of I. So we have cow, low, ha, Fatha, Waw, Sukoon, how, ba, Fatha, Yaw, Sukoon, bay. Lam, Fatha, Yaw, Sukoon, lay. Mim, Fatha, Yaw, Sukoon, may. Now let's deal with this table. Reading across the page. Kaf, Fatha, Hamza, Sukoon, ka. Ba, Kasra, Hamza, Sukoon, bi. Ba, Dhamma, Hamza, Sukoon, bu. Fatha, Fatha on Alif, yani Alif, Fatha, Ba, Sukoon, ab. Ha, Kasra, Ba, Sukoon, hib. Jim, Dhamma, Ba, Sukoon, jub. Mim, Fatha, Ta, Sukoon, mat. Waw, Kasra, Ta, Sukoon, wit. Yaw, Dhamma, Ta, Sukoon, yut. Kaf, Fatha, Tha, Sukoon, kath. Alif, Kasra, Tha, Sukoon, ith. Ain, Dhamma, Tha, Sukoon, uth. Waw, Fatha, Jim, Sukoon, waj. Ra, Kasra, Jim, Sukoon, rij. Ha, Dhamma, Jim, Sukoon, huj. Ba, Fatha, Ha, Sukoon, bah. Mim, Kasra, Ha, Sukoon, mih. Jim, Dhamma, Ha, Sukoon, juh. Ba, Fatha, Kha, Sukoon, bakh. Alif, Kasra, Kha, Sukoon, ikh. Noon, Dhamma, Kha, Sukoon, nukh. Qaf, Fatha, Dal, Sukoon, qad. Kaf, Kasra, Dal, Sukoon, kid. Sad, Dhamma, Dal, Sukoon, sud. Jim, Fatha, Dal, Sukoon, jadh. Ba, Kasra, Dal, Sukoon, bidh. Kha, Dhamma, Dal, Sukoon, khudh. Dal, Fatha, Ra, Sukoon, dar. Sin, Kasra, Ra, Sukoon, sir. Mim, Dhamma, Ra, Sukoon, mur. Ya, Fatha, Zain, Sukoon, yaz. Jim, Kasra, Zain, Sukoon, jiz. Fa, Dhamma, Zain, Sukoon, fuz. Ba, Fatha, Sin, Sukoon, bas. Qaf, Kasra, Sin, Sukoon, qis. Ghain, Dhamma, Sin, Sukoon, ghus. Noon, Fatha, Shin, Sukoon, nash. Qaf, Kasra, Shin, Sukoon, qish. Ra, Dhamma, Shin, Sukoon, rush. Alif with Hamza, Fatha, Sad, Sukoon, as. Mim, Kasra, Sad, Sukoon, mis. Ain, Dhamma, Sad, Sukoon, us. Fa, Fatha, Dad, Sukoon, fad. Alif, Kasra, Dad, Sukoon, id. Mim, Dhamma, Dad, Sukoon, mud. Sin, Fatha, Ta, Sukoon, sat. Qaf, Kasra, Fa, Kasra, Ta, Sukoon, fit. Sa, Fatha, Ta, Sukoon, sat. Fa, Kasra, Ta, Sukoon, fit. Lam, Dhamma, Ta, Sukoon, lut. Ain, Fatha, Dha, سكون عض. ألف كسرة ظا سكون إذ. عين ضمة ظا سكون عذ. شين فتحة عين سكون شع. باء كسرة عين سكون بع. شين ضمة عين سكون شع. ميم فتحة غين سكون مغ. ضاد كسرة غين سكون ضغ. باء ضمة غين سكون بغ. دال فتحة فاء سكون دف. حاء كسرة فاء سكون حفظ. سين ضمة فاء سكون صف. فاء فتحة قاف سكون فق. ثين ثا فا فتحة قاف سكون فق. ثا كسرة قاف سكون ثق. حاء ضمة قاف سكون حق. را فتحة كاف سكون رك. فا كسرة كاف سكون فك. را ضمة كاف سكون رك. با فتحة لام سكون بل. نون كسرة لام سكون نل. فا ضمة لام سكون فل. نون فتحة ميم سكون نم. ميم كسرة ميم سكون مم. قاف ضمة ميم سكون قم. لام فتحة نون سكون لن. قاف كسرة نون سكون قن. جيم ضمة نون سكون جن. سين فتحة ها سكون سه. صاد كسرة ها سكون صه. ميم ضمة ها سكون مه. ألف همزة ألف. ألف همزة فتحة. واو سكون أو. باء فتحة ياو سكون بي. End of page 55.